Okay, welcome back. Today, dude, sometimes I forget I have tattoos. I digress. Today, we are going to talk about the shit that I've been picking up. Basically, I no longer have a clothing problem, I have a book problem. And what I mean is, I look at books, I see the covers, and I'm just like, throw it in the bag. And then I press purchase and I bring them home, and I ask myself, when am I going to find time to read them? But we're in the middle of a pandemic that's getting worse every day, which means that I have nothing but time because I'm still working from home, which I'm very thankful for. So let's just get into it because I know that you're tired of hearing my voice and I'm tired of hearing my voice. All right, so I guess I should preface this by saying that a majority of these books are fantasy because reading is my form of escapism. And 2020 has literally been a dumpster fire. I'm breathing heavy because I literally just put these clothes on for a second time, and it was a lot of jumping up and down, and I also did some cardio today. All right, who cares about your workout routine, Brianna? Nobody cares. So, most of these are fantasy. There might be 2 fiction books in here that are pretty good. I guess we should start with, let's start with our first fiction. One Day in December. So the reason I picked this one up is because it's a love at first sight. She sees him from the train window, doesn't get off, doesn't speak to him, but falls in love with him. I don't actually believe in love at first sight. I mean, Russell Wilson. But Sierra, what is your prayer? Girl, just let me know. Anyway, so it's a span of 10 years. She sees him, doesn't speak to him, runs into him again because her best friend brings him home and that's her boyfriend. So what I've been told is that it's like a love triangle, but it's not. And you have no idea whether or not they end up together in the end, which I'm hoping they do because I'm really tired of sad books at this point. Whatever. The next one that's also a fiction is this one, and it's called If I Never Met You. Now this one was really good. So the back explains it as if she has been in a relationship for a decade. Her boyfriend decides he doesn't want to be with her anymore, leaves her, knocks somebody else up after telling her he didn't want to have kids. And then it just kind of becomes a clusterfuck, and there's kind of a revenge plot in there. She gets somebody else to date her to make him jealous. I'm not really sure, but it sounded kind of good because honestly, if you left me after 10 years and told me that you didn't want to have kids and I found that you knock somebody else up, bitch, I'm hurt. I'll probably kill you. But if I'm a bigger person, maybe I'll do revenge. Oh, maybe there's one more fiction. So this one is All This Time. It's supposed to be a really good YA book, and I'm 30, but I'm still childish as fuck. Sorry, Mom, for cursing so much. It's just how I speak. This takes place, it's they're high school sweethearts. She dumps him. She dies. He has to figure out how to live without her, and then also falls for somebody else who's grieving. It sounds messy, and I like messy. Okay, now let's get into the fantasy because I feel like a majority of the books that are left on my bed are all fantasy. All of them are fantasy, actually. Can you tell I've got a type? I have no idea what this one is about. I picked it up because I liked the cover. And as I was looking at the cover, I kept thinking about that Billie Eilish song that's you should see me in a crown. And it made me want to buy a crown on Amazon. I'm not going to do it, though, because Jeff Bezos is the devil. Please don't fire me from Whole Foods, though. Okay. So this one is about Mare Barrow's world is divided by blood, those with red and those with silver. Honestly, it kind of feels like how we're operating now. Those who are black, those who are white, really don't fuck with each other. One thinks they're better, the other one's just fighting for basic human rights. It kind of felt very much like life. So I was like, you know what? Let me pick it up and, try and read it. Haven't cracked it open. Book of the Month Club. Great. It's $15 a month. You buy a book. They pick them out. You pick one, whatever. It's pretty good. It's worth the money. I skipped this month because nothing really kind of jumped at me. But this one is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. It's kind of it's a modern take on Romeo and Juliet. It's in 1926 and in Shanghai. There's also a dragon of some sort, which totally makes sense because it's Shanghai. I've only read about 2 whole pages. Couldn't really get into it, but I'm gonna try again. And I posted about this on Instagram before I had even really like got into it. And this is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And it's actually like really, really well written. It's beautifully written. It's about Addie LaRue who sold her soul. She ends up living forever. So she's kind of like Edward Cullen. So she has to like watch her friends die and like forget about her. And she's like kind of going through the motions. And then she runs into someone who remembers her. And then it's like there's a love story in there. So there's like some fantasy, some sci-fi shit, but there's love. And honestly, I'm thirsty for love and books. Let's see. So then I picked up The Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. And I'm looking, I have like 4 other books by Leigh Bardugo. Behind me is my bookshelf. And this one takes place in college. There's murder, there's some mystery, there's some sci-fi shit. And I feel like it sounds really good. I just haven't been able to start it yet. And the girl's name is Galaxy, and that's such a cool name. I don't think my black child could ever be called Galaxy because the jokes would write themselves. But it sounds good. Let's see. She's searching for answers. She's tasked by mysterious benefactors with monitoring the activities of Yale secret societies. There's some tombs, rich and powerful, who are like killing people, I presume. It sounds good. It also sounds like some shit that would definitely happen. How long have I been talking? I've got time. Okay. This next one, this is the one that I'm actually going to start reading maybe this week. Shadow and Bone. It's going to become a Netflix series. I am on Book Talk, which is TikTok, books for TikTok, and I'm also on BookTube, which is books on YouTube. And everybody that I've followed has had this or read it and said that if you are just getting back into reading again, like this is the one that you should get. And it sounded really good. There's a love story woven into it, but it's also like a really powerful woman who is fighting a war, and she's got some magic in her, and it just, I like anything that's got a really strong female character. Like some days I want to read about like that girl who is down on her luck and gets like saved by the rich benefactor, like, because I know that that's not what my life is. But then there's times where I'm like, I don't need a sword because I can, you know, like kill him myself. And that's what this one is. And then, let's see. This has also been something that people have talked about nonstop on Book Talk and BookTube. And it's a 600-page book by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and it's From Blood and Ash. And I'm a little nervous to start this because I heard that it's a little slow in the beginning because it's kind of laying the foundation of the worlds and the people. But once you get past that, it's really, really good. And it's, let's see. It's about a girl named Poppy who can never be touched, never to be looked at, never to be spoken to. Her entire kingdom rests on her shoulders. She has longing. She meets a guy named Hawk who happens to be a guard who's honor bound to ensure her ascension. That's interesting. And then there's some gods and feared mortals, a fallen kingdom, some vengeance. There's some cursing. It sounds good. It sounds really good. It's such a commitment though, because it's literally 613 pages. And I don't know about you guys, but this just feels heavy. But in the next 2 weeks, I'm going on vacation from work and I have nothing planned because I'm not going to travel anywhere. So maybe I will take the time to actually start this book. And this is a book that I'm planning on starting after I finish editing and putting together this video. And it's called The Wrath and the Dawn. Now this one was really interesting. So it's Khalid, the 18-year-old Caliph of Khorasan, is a monster. He takes a new wife and kills her by sunrise. That sounds like mad interesting. It's like you marry somebody, like you have sex, and then you kill them. Like, I'm dead, but I'm alive, but I'm dead. Like, that sounds totally up my alley. Like, I love murder. Because in some part of my mind, I thought I was going to be a detective, and then it was like ACAB, so that dream's over. But the girl's name is, I'm gonna like completely chop this up, and it's Shahrazad. is that's a Pokemon. Okay, so she's the first volunteer to become Khalid's bride. She vows to stop his reign of terror because she lost a friend who he had killed. But I think she ends up falling in love with him, and supposedly this is just a really good story. Khalid might not actually be like this monster that people have made him out to be. I don't know. I'm gonna read this though. So I'll put this over here. This one's called The Kingdom of the Wicked. I know nothing about this book. I just thought that the cover was fucking beautiful. And the back is what really got me. Because the back is this, and it's like scroll that's like crinkled, and it says, I understood why some thought kissing one of the wicked was addictive. Each time his tongue touched mine, it felt as if the ground beneath me quaked, like we were a cataclysmic event that shouldn't be. It just reminds me of like love, and I love love, and it's just like, it just sounds like there are two people who definitely should not be together, and now all of a sudden they're gonna be together. I've never had that, like, I shouldn't be with you, but I love you, and I'm gonna like be with you in secret. I've never had that, because honestly, it just sounds like a lot of work, and I don't like to put that much work into my love life. Just kidding. Just kidding. And the final one. God, this has been a lot of books. It's called Dance of Thieves. I don't know why I picked this one. I'll keep it 100. No idea why I picked it. I think because the front of the book looked interesting. I'm not sure, actually, at all. It's an outlaw family. There's some power. Young women who are the queen's premier guard. There's a street thief. There's a dark secret. It's a fantasy. Yeah, that's really all I've got to say about that one, because honestly, I don't really know what it's about. I just know that there's stealing. Like, are you stealing a heart? Are you stealing an item? Nobody will know. I guess when I film the next video, we'll see if I've made any progress. So I think that's like 13 books. And I'm hoping to at least read 5 of them for the month of December. I will check back at the end of December with a new video, because it sounds overly ambitious to want to read 5 books, because they're all kind of long. But this is the first one I'm going to start with, and I guess I will update you on my stories. Thanks for watching. This was fun. Okay.